booktube, it's Jackie. How's it going? If you're new to me and this is the first time you're seeing my face, hello, what's up? My name's Jackie. I sit on my floor and I talk about books. So, hope that's why you're here, because that's what's gonna be happening today. If you're not new to me, thank you for always tuning in and the continued support. I really do appreciate it. So today for you, I have a year in the making video. So a little bit of backstory. I am part of an online book club known as the Black Hat Book Coven. If you're not familiar with it, I've been part of it going on quite a few years now. And we read witchy books. That's what we do. And we started this last year where we decided to all gather and rank the books that we read throughout the year, because we do something pretty unique. It's not just one person picking the book. There are 4 members, which include Becky from FirstLadyReads, Kristen from Kristen Craves Books, Laura from A Book Circus, and myself here at First Lady Reads. And since there are 4 of us, we each pick 3 books for the year and we all read them. So we thought it'd be kind of fun last year to rank the books from worst to best. And we had such a good time last year that we decided to do it again this year. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is my 2025 Black Hat Book Coven tier ranking. So I have gone through the videos, I've gone through reviews, I've gone through my star ratings, I've done the torture of trying to rank these and not make me feel bad. So it's here, it's ready to go. Let's find out. So without further ado, grab yourself a drink, have yourself a seat, and let's get talking some books. Okay, so yes, my rankings for the 2025 Black Hat Book Coven season. This was actually a lot easier go around than last year, because last year I was not smart and kept a separate spreadsheet of just the Black Hat Book Coven stuff. I learned from last year to do that, so this year all my shit was right there, and all my rankings, all my star ratings, everything was there. So that was really nice when it was time to go back to actually rank these. However, I did have a lot of similar star ratings, so then I still had to go through the whole, oh, which do I remember? Do I remember liking that? I had to watch a few of my live shows back to kind of get reacquainted with some of the books. And honestly, I'm gonna be perfectly honest, today I literally finished the last book of the season, so it is the freshest in my mind. So I also had to fight with which ones stay in my mind, which ones are more poignant, does it really deserve to be there, or is it just because I just finished it, stuff like that. So it was a good time. It was a fun time, but let's just find out what my rankings are. Now, Becky and Kristen will also be uploading their own ranking videos as well on the same day, and we will be having a live show on my channel tonight, where we will all 4 of us rank them together. So we'll have our own ranking system, plus then we will discuss it and be like, oh, maybe you're kind of right. And I just want to shout out that last year, my book won. So I'm the reigning champion right now. Reigning champ. I don't know if that's going to be the same case for this year. I don't know. My picks weren't the greatest from what I remember. But I think I might at least be up there. I think. So, but let's find out what I ranked. So going from worst to best, the 12th spot falls to the first DNF of the year for the Black Hat Book Coven. I embraced the DNF. So I did DNF this book, and that is Hot Hex Boyfriend by Carly Bloom. It looks like this. This was one of Kristen's picks. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I literally DNF'd this on the live show because I hadn't finished it yet, and everybody told me to just not worry about finishing it because it was awful. So I literally stopped listening to it because I had the audiobook and then returned it on camera. So you can literally watch back that live show and see me get rid of it. It's pretty awesome. So I have a feeling this is going to be one of the bottom ones for a lot of us. So just an FYI. This is not really a surprise to me. It was DNF'd, so yeah, it was down the bottom. Sorry. The next spot, which is number 11, goes to one of Becky's picks, and it was originally a DNF, but I ended up going back and finishing it, and giving it 2 stars, and this was Bewitched by Sienna Kelly. This was pegged as like a sea witch, and I thought it was gonna be kind of cool, but then it got really fucking weird, and then it just got weirder, and I should have continued with the DNF. I shouldn't have gone back, guys. I just shouldn't have. And apparently it's a fucking series. And I just never got over the fact they spelled Bewitched with 2 C's. I just never really got over that. It was annoying. So yeah, I would not be continuing with this series, because it is a series. Was not a fan. I gave it 2 stars because I actually finished it. It probably could have been a 1 star, but yeah, there was some weird stuff going on. There's a seal that played fetch. There was a little tattoo squid octopus thing that moved around on her body. That was kind of cool. She made tentacle statues with like this tentacle looking bridge thing. Artist loft who baked. Too much. Over it. Thanks. No. Bye-bye. That was number 11. Number 10. This is where it starts to get a little bit more difficult, because now I am dealing with books that I've completely finished. I did not DNF. I went entirely through. So this is where it started to get a little difficult, but I was pretty for sure that this one was going to be... It was a toss-up. It was really a toss-up between the 10 and 9 spot, because one book I remembered a lot more because I had recently read it, and the other one was at the very early part of the year. But when I went back and watched the live show on the earlier one to kind of refresh my memory, it seemed like I enjoyed it more. I had more to talk about. I had more things to say, not so much hateful things or annoyed things. So that's kind of how this ranking went between these two. So number 10 goes to Margaret Killjoy's The Sapling Cage, and this was Kristen's pick. It was a 2 star for me. Yeah, this was this had the makings of being something kind of cool, because about a trans witch, and there was some really cool elements, but at the same time, it just didn't go anywhere. And it's the start of a series. But it didn't go, it has a dope ass cover. It did. And I thought it was going to be kind of cool, but I just, yeah, I felt nothing for it. I just was like, this is annoying. This is annoying. That's dumb. So, but we follow this young boy who wants to be a female so he can be a witch. And he trades places with his friend and goes in her stead as a witch because she was promised to the witches. And they go on this traveling journey. This is a journey one where they just travel a lot. And there's some moments where the trans element comes into play where it might be a big deal, but like, it's not a big fucking deal. Everybody fucking knew. Everybody knew, and nobody seemed to give a shit. And the people that did seem to give a shit weren't even part of their fucking clan, so who gives a fuck? Really, like, the main cool element about this character means fucking nothing. Which was a cool element in and of itself. It's just like, hey, it's just an everyday thing. We're moving on. Let's go through it. But at the same time, the character constantly felt it was a problem, even though everybody fucking knew about it. I don't care. Shut up. Quit whining. And just, there wasn't any memorable characters in this book at all. Like, I can tell you there was a lot of walking. There was a lot of really good imagery. There was a cool guy who was sarcastically funny that I really thought was going to be a love interest at some point in time, but it went nowhere. And that's pretty much about it. And I recently read this. So, yeah. So number 9 falls to the earlier book, which was by Celestine Martin, and it's Kiss and Spell. This is actually the second installment in a series, and I cannot remember the series name off the top of my head. I'll put it right here. This was a cozy, cute little kind of romance. I don't remember much about it, but watching on the playback, I got a good feeling, and I enjoyed it. It did have some unique elements to it, especially its magic. So I put it higher than the Sapling Cage, even though the Sapling Cage gave me more to talk about, but it wasn't positive to talk about. So yeah, that was my decision-making process on that one, guys. Not super exciting, but I did give it 3 stars. It was a solid 3-star, while the Sapling Cage was only a 2-star. There you go. Number 8 falls to my pick, and that is Voodoo Dreams by Jewel Parker Rhodes. I had high hopes for this one. This is about the Voodoo Queen, Marie Laveau, and I remembered last year talking about trying to find a book about Marie Laveau, and so when I found one, I immediately make it one of my picks for this year. I had super high hopes for this one. This was so much dark, and I can handle dark. I can handle heavy. I can handle triggery. I can handle all that shit. We all know this. I don't have triggers. But this was just drenched in it, and not in a good wet kind of way. Like, this was sopping wet with terror and tears and pain and blood and rape and trauma and fucking slavery and all this other shit. Like, all this heinous, horrible crap that you could possibly think of was in this fucking book. This was a book that I tentatively DNF'd. I knew I was going to finish it, but I just didn't finish it in time for the live show, and it was my book. And I think Laura was the only one that finished it by the live show, and she was not happy with me. She's like, I'm never reading anything like this ever again. But the reason I put it higher up, it was because when I did go back and finish it, it was very dark. It was very heavy. It is not a book for everybody, but I did see some good in it, and I did enjoy the story it gave Marie Laveau, because I'm very interested in her character and history. I always thought she was a very interesting character, so it was very nice to see something like that, and it was historical fiction. And as blood-drenched and pain-filled as it was, it did make me think, not about how stupid or bad it was, but just kind of think of the time frame, the scenarios, things that women had to go through. And I like books that can make me pause and really contemplate what's going on outside, and kind of remind me to be grateful for what I have, that I don't have to deal with any of this shit. So it was definitely a book that made me think and made me feel a little bit, so it got put a little higher up than the others. Number 7 falls to Laura's pick by Catherine Blackwell of Flower Heart. I felt really good about this one. It was a 3-star. It was just a nice, cozy little romance, and it was fun. I remember having a good time with this one. So it just felt right to be right about here. I don't really do cozy very often, so to put cozy at this level is actually pretty good for me. But I did enjoy it when I was reading it, and I gave it 3 stars. So, yeah. And I do actually have the sequel to this series on my Kindle, because I planned on continuing with it. So, yeah, it definitely made me want. I like the Catherine Blackwell's writing for sure. It was a good time. Number 6 falls to my pick, and that is The Stone Witch of Florence by Anna Rashi. I gave this 3 stars. I know this is probably going to be low on most of the girls' lists. I enjoyed this because I am historical fiction, but it was not what I wanted it to be. I really wanted more from this book, but what I got wasn't bad. It wasn't horrible. We follow a young witch who can handle stones and gemstones and things of that nature, and relics are being stolen across Italy, across Florence, and they hire her to help track down the theft of these relics because she has the powers to do it. And it turns out they're like Frankensteining together this massive saint and powerhouse saint. So I thought it was interesting, but it was really easy to figure out. But it did have some cool maps and stuff. However, it just wasn't really what I wanted for the story. So it didn't get very high up. It's just going to be straight in the middle. But I did give it 3 stars. And it was a book of the month book, so I was really excited to get one off my list. But yeah, I enjoyed it because I enjoy historical fiction. I enjoy kind of stuff like that. However, it was just a solid 3. There wasn't really anything to write home about with it. Number 5 is also my pick, and I gave it 4 stars. And this is The Witch Who Trades with Death by C.M. Alonji. I don't know how to say your fucking name. I don't know how to say it. This one was fun. I had a really good time with this one, actually. This one I thought was going to be a little bit higher, but I'll explain it later. But I definitely had a good time with this one. This one is about a concubine who runs away because she has learned how the emperor has stayed immoral and how he makes deals with death, and she learns this. And she flees to this little, like, kind of continent little area, and turns out the emperor is on the hunt for her, so he tracks her down and is now waging war against this little, like, neutral Switzerland kind of style island region. And she has to go in the army, she has to train, and she has magic that works, and they're the found family, and this was great. I had a really good time with that part. She's really good with medicine, so that we got a lot of medicinal stuff in it as well. It was just an all-around kind of a decent book. It also had a really kick-ass cover. It was a straight cover buy, but I actually bought this book for the sole purpose of it being in the Black Hat Book Coven because I thought it was something a lot of the girls would like, and I feel like a lot of the girls liked it. I think we all actually finished this. I think we all finished this one. But this was a good time. I had a really good time. I gave it 4 stars. Number 4 is actually a 3-star book by Becky, but it was The House of Blight by Maxim M. Martineau. And you're probably wondering why I put a 4-star below a 3-star. Well, here's the reason why. Because I've actually recommended this book to 2 other people because I felt like it was something they would enjoy. I am not recommending any of these other books to anybody else, except for, well, 2. But this was the first one I recommended, and it does not compare to the other ones, okay? Let's just be honest. But there was this cute little moth character that was adorable. I loved her. Thought it was cool. I really liked how this was kind of like a really weird interpretation of the Fall of House of Usher. It was a very weird interpretation of it. But I definitely got some cool, creepy vibes to it. So that was interesting. It was a very unique mending magic system. However, the ending was kind of foretold. So it was a very obvious ending for me. The 3rd spot goes to Laura with another 3-star, but okay. It's a 3-star, but it's one of the most poignant books in my mind because it was one of the last ones I read. And honestly, I'm glad I finished it because there was a lot of times I should have put this down. I should have put it down and be like, no, not worth it. Stuff's not happening. More stuff needs to happen. But I didn't. I kept going through. And I'm glad I did because it was a solid, it's a solid 3. It could have been a 4 if I didn't have that dragging in the beginning because the ending did really start to ramp up and it did really well at the end. So it's one of those books that I'm glad I did not invoke a DNF on because I would have missed this ending, and I'm very much looking forward to the second one when it comes out. I think I probably will pick it up. I probably won't be like jumping on it and be like, oh my God, I need to read it right now. But yeah, it is Arcana Academy by Lise Kova. We just had our live show for this one, and I had not finished it on the live show, and I was saying it's a solid 3, and then I get to the ending and I'm like, oh, well, this is actually kind of fucking cool. Yeah, there was some cool intrigue, and then some things that I thought I knew, I didn't. So it's one of those. So that's why it got pushed back. It got pushed up because I had a really interesting ending experience with it. The last half of the book definitely ramps up way faster. It has a unique magic system with tarot, and there is dark academia, but there's not a lot of academy in there. It doesn't really feel like academy. I felt like there was a lot of like similarity to romantasy, like Harry Potter, Throne of Glass. There was a lot of similar things, a lot of straight up ripoffs actually, but towards the end it kind of became its own. So I was definitely appreciative of that one. The number 2 spot. Okay, so I'm going to be perfectly honest. This book got 4 stars from me. Got 4 stars. But the sequel to this book was a 5-star read for me. It was my first 5-star read of the fucking year, was the sequel to this book. And it's The Unmarked Witch by Miranda Lynn. And this is Laura's pick. This book, a lot of us thought there was a lot of similarities to Sarah J. Maas, which there was. There's no denying it. But I read book 2 because the twist ending, I was like, what? Okay. So there's a lot of similarities. It was a solid 3 up until the very end. And I was like, okay, that is a twist that I did not see coming. Right out of left field. I'll take it. I'll run with it. Let's go. So I gave it a 4-star, and I immediately picked up the sequel. The sequel is 5 stars. I fell fucking in love with it. I loved it. I raved about the sequel. So this one does not make number 1, but its sequel, which you have to read the first one to understand the sequel, gave me one of the best books of my 2025 year. So, Laura got censure with the second, with The Unmarked Witch. I still very much enjoy this book. I actually even read the novella, The Unblessed Witch, just to kind of complete the series because I really enjoyed this a lot. It had a really good time with this one. And last but not least, my number 1 pick, and I think it's probably going to be everybody's because we all really like this one except for Laura because she didn't read it, is The Vampire's Bargain by Jasmine Walt. And this was 4 stars by Kristen. This one just had a so unique world. It had so many unanswered questions, but they were questions that I really want to know the answers to, and I want the sequel. We all had positive things to say about it. I enjoyed it. I just wanted to know all this stuff, and it had a mirror scene that I'm still thinking about. Oh, mirror scenes, plus my favorite, yes, absolutely, absolutely. This was amazing, okay? The only thing that sucky about it was the fucking cover, okay? To be perfectly honest, I hated this cover. This cover sucks. And the other version's cover is just as shitty. Like, change the fucking covers. It is not, no, don't judge this book by this cover, because it's shit. The book is fantastic, though. I had a really good time with this book. It was almost 5 stars. Almost. But it wasn't quite there, but I still had a really, really good time with this one, and I still think about this one, and I'm still waiting for the sequel to come out. But apparently they're re-releasing this book with some new information to make sense in the sequel. So when the sequel comes out, I'll have to reread this book, the re-released one, to understand the new stuff, because there was stuff that apparently she forgot to put in this book when it was released, something like that. I'm not quite for sure. All I know is this had fucking like Terminator horses, okay? It was a world where they were like using ether and stuff like that to keep things alive because the vampires had taken over and humans were being like farmed and shit. And it was just dope. And that mirror scene to die for, guys. To die for. So good. So good. There's some shadow magic in there with the shadow. Oh. Yes. This was a really good time. This one was a fun one. Out of all the books I read this year for the Black Hat Book Coven, this and The Unmarked Witch are the 2 that stand out the most in my mind. But this one stands out the most because of the story itself. Unmarked Witch is because I really liked The Unbound Witch, which was the sequel to it. So yeah, there's my rankings, guys. That was my 2025 season of the Black Hat Book Coven. I hope you guys enjoy this, and I will link all the other Black Hat Book Coven ladies down in the down box below. Go check out their videos, and then join us tonight for our live show where we rank all of these bad boys together, and we will see who takes the crown. See if I get to retain it one more year, or if I have to bequeath it to somebody else. So we shall find out. But that's what I got for you guys today. I hope you have a good one, and I will see you guys all soon with another video.